Are you ready to fight back against that narcissist by manipulating them in a way that they always manipulate you? If you are so ready to learn how to ethically manipulate the manipulator, then check out this video because I've got the advice for you. Hi, I'm Rebecca Zung, and I've been recognized as one of the top 1% of attorneys in the country. And I've written a couple of best-selling books, Negotiate Like You Matter and Breaking Free, a Step-by-Step Divorce Guide. And I've helped millions of people through this channel with ways to fight back against that narcissist in your life. If you are so ready to feel more powerful, to get rid of the paralysis, to finally get what you deserve and live the life that you want to, then you have no choice. You have to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell because that's what I do for you right here on this channel and in these videos. So let's talk about that narcissist. The narcissist is a master manipulator. They have spent their entire lives learning how to manipulate. They are masters at reading people. And if you want to know more about why narcissists are so good at reading people, check out my video on that topic. They are excellent at it. And they have spent their entire lives at it. You know, there was that book, Outliers. I don't know if any of you have ever read that book by Malcolm Gladwell. And he talks about how you need 10,000 hours to become super skilled at something and achieve mastery level. Well, narcissists have way more than 10,000 hours at learning how to manipulate people. They've spent their entire lives learning how to manipulate people. And so everything they do is a manipulation. Pretty much everything they do is to manipulate you. It's to control you. It's to make you feel devalued. It's to make themselves feel more superior than you. And so they are really, really good at doing that. So how do you manipulate them back? And why would you want to do that? Well, number one is that if you are in a negotiation with a narcissist, you are in the fight of your life. There's no doubt in my mind. They have one goal, and that is to take you down. It's to make your life miserable. It's to control you. It's to make you squirm. That's what they want in the negotiation. And so you are not playing on a level playing field. You, reasonable person, are going, well, I just want what's fair, and you know, maybe we can both come to a reasonable conclusion. Well, you know, maybe there's some way we can sort of meet in the middle or whatever. You cannot do that when you are dealing with a narcissist, because a narcissist doesn't want to come to a reasonable conclusion. They want to make you miserable. They get narcissistic supply from that. So, and remember that narcissistic supply is anything that feeds a narcissist's ego. It's what they need to build themselves up. So they're constantly looking for it. They're like sharks smelling blood in the water. And there's more supply, and there I can get more supply, and there I can get more supply. They're like hoarding it and desperate for it. They are predators. Make no mistake about it. They are predators, and they need an endless amount of narcissistic supply. It's like a black hole that can never be filled. And they get narcissistic supply in a negotiation by making you squirm, by making you miserable. So the only way that you're going to be able to fight back against that is by ethically manipulating the manipulator. And if you are so ready to fight back against that narcissist, give me a fight back right now in the comments. So how do you do that? Well, one of the ways that you can do that is by being prepared and anticipating how they are going to behave, and then not being surprised when they behave like a narcissist. So that when they go off on you, when they call you all sorts of names and say that you're a deadbeat, or say that you're a loser, or whatever verbiage they use that basically says that, you're going to say, oh, I expected you to say that. There you go, being your narky self. Okay, smile and move on. And then if you need to respond to them, you respond very, very tactically. So that is another way that you can ethically manipulate the manipulator, is by responding tactically. In other words, if they send you a long, huge text or a long, huge email filled with vitriol, filled with poison, filled with all sorts of things meant to trigger you, you are going to respond tactically. You are going to look through this email as if you are reading the newspaper or reading a fact sheet or a data sheet, and you're going to go, I don't need to respond to that. I don't need to respond to that. I don't need to respond to that. Oh, that I need to respond to. So you just pick the one or two things in there that you say, okay, I need to respond to that. Like, what time are we doing something? Or when will this take place? Or something like that, some factual thing. And then you respond only to that. And then the rest of it you either ignore, or maybe you say something very, very tactical, like, I'm in receipt of your email, I deny your allegations, and here's my response to the one thing that I need to respond to. So tactical responses is very, very helpful. Another thing that you can do is provide value for value by saying something to the narcissist like, can you handle this financial thing? You're so much better at numbers than I am. Something like that. It's called like narcissistic fluffing. You're sort of fluffing up their ego so that they now feel like you're respecting them in some way. You're giving them adulation in some way. They need an endless amount of adulation. So you can just, give them a little something so that you can get a little something. These are ways that you ethically are manipulating the manipulator. You have to do it in order for you to get anywhere and get something that you want out of this situation. You have to understand that they need to feel like they're getting something out of this. They will not do anything unless they feel like they're getting something out of it. And the last thing that you can do when you're going to negotiate with them is when you present your offer, you just make sure that you're asking for a hell of a lot more than what it is that you're actually wanting. And never let on what the one thing is that you really, really want, or the few things that you really, really want. Act like you really, really want something else. Because that way, if you end up giving up on it, then the narcissist thinks that they got to you. So remember that when you're doing this little game with the narcissist, which unfortunately you have to play this game because that's who they are, you're never going to win by having them know that you won in a certain way, because they'll just keep pushing. They'll keep fighting. Because as long as they feel that there's some amount of supply to be had from you, then they will continue to come back to get it. Even if it's just scraping the bottom of the peanut butter jar, as much as, that's how much narcissistic supply there is left to get from you, they're coming back for it. Because as I said, they are predators. They want to come as much as there's still some kind of food, some kind of something that they can get out of this situation. The only way that you will end up getting them to stop is by letting them know that there's no more supply to be had from you. So when you come to negotiating with them, you have to be fully prepared. You have to keep your emotions out of it. Your mindset has to be super strong. And the way that you're going to start, by the way, is by using my free resources. They are free, so why not grab them? So you can start by going to winmynegotiation.com and getting my free Crush My Negotiation Prep Worksheet. Millions of people have been have used it, availed themselves of it, and have gotten amazing, powerful results from it, and it's totally free. So winmynegotiation.com. And then join me in my free private Facebook group as well. In there, you will get support from many other people who are also negotiating with narcissists. They share stories. They support each other. You can figure out who's doing what winning results they're getting, and you just come to Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung to join me there. If you like this video, give it a like, give it a share so that other people have access to this information. And then make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'm so glad that you stopped by my channel here today. And remember, today is a great day to start negotiating your best life. I will see you in the next video.